Welcome to the PRFFP, the podcast showcasing the films and the directors of the Party Room Film Festival. This week's director directed Life, The Wet Bandits Pitch Meeting, Chronicles of Light 4 through 6. The first director to finish up a Party Room trilogy. Please welcome Tanner.
Hey, thank you.
Tanner, thank you so much for your time this evening.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess the first thing to ask you is, how does it feel? You finished up a trilogy.
Bittersweet, I'd say.
Mhm.
It feels really good that it's done. It's really crazy that it's been 3 years.
Mhm.
But also just kind of a little sad just because it's such a fun adventure to do it with the guys up here. And now it's over. Just, a little bitter. So.
Let's start as, we start all things. We should start at the beginning. So, Rules video comes around. It gets revealed that we're doing the Civil War. What was your first reaction to the whole teams concept?
I was surprised at first because I did not see it coming.
Mhm.
But once we kind of divided our teams, I was really excited because I thought it would just be fun, something new, something interesting just a new dynamic to bring into the festival.
Were you happy with the team that you were on?
I'd say so, yeah.
They've kind of already revealed that, our team captains, they kind of chose categories that would help us out. So, it wasn't just by luck that you got light.
No, it's funny. I talked to Sam about that when I went down the film, and he's like, yeah, we kind of had no choice but to give you light because everyone knew I was doing book 6. So
Yeah.
But I was very happy, super happy, because I was actually really nervous leading up to it,
Mhm.
That something would happen and just make it almost impossible. And I think I even went as far in my head to be like, yeah, I'm just gonna, if it's something that doesn't even fit, I'm just gonna ignore it. I don't care what kind of flack I get. I'm just gonna do what I want.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So we also get the reveal of the prop and the line. What were your thoughts on those two?
The prop, I was a little nervous too, because I think Josiah put in the chat, I have no idea how you guys are gonna use it this year. And I was like, oh man, what am I gonna do? And then it just revealed to be a snow globe, and I'm like, okay, well, that's easy. I'll just, instead of killing off Caleb at the end, I'll just freeze him in a snow globe.
Mhm.
And then I bought one of those picture frame snow globes.
Mhm.
Took a frame from the film of him from us filming, and then put him in front of a snow background and called it a day. As for the line, I was not thrilled. I was just like, this doesn't fit my film at all. I don't even know. I thought about at one point trying to have Sam say it in German,
Mhm.
but we didn't really have time to work on how to pronounce it in German.
Mhm.
So
No, specifically, why specifically German?
I don't know. It just sounded cool in German.
It does kind of just happen randomly. That's for
Yeah.
sure. And then, of course, we have Sam as your actor. How does it feel knowing that, you kind of have to write a new character into this world that you're creating?
Yeah, that was definitely hard because it's kind of funny. I had, for certain people, I had ideas going
Mhm.
into it. So I think for if Andrew was in it, I'd have made him a hobbit. No surprise there. If you were in it, I was gonna make you a dwarf with Zach.
Thank you.
So I probably named you. Your name would have been Garfunkel, the dwarf. And then Levi, I was actually gonna have him be. And back when we did sophomore musical in college, he was Prince Dauntless in Once Upon a Mattress.
Okay.
So I was gonna have him be King Dauntless because I get years later.
Mhm.
But then I got Sam, and I'm like, I didn't even think of anything for Sam, so I had no idea what to do.
Mhm.
So I thought about it for a while. I'm like, yeah, I'll just be a general. And then I don't even know where I came up with the name Tyrus. That's just
Mhm.
what I came up with.
Part of the thing that I love about these films personally is I get to see your skills grow over the years. The intro to this film is absolutely insane. You have the masked out letters, the music. It's so perfect. Tell me a little bit about creating that.
Definitely inspired by actually where the music comes from.
Mhm.
So, like I was big into the Arrowverse shows on the CW, like the Arrow, Flash,
Mhm.
Supergirl, and they did their big Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover,
Mhm.
and so it's kind of inspired by that a little bit. Like it's like actually music from their title sequence for that like event, and then inspired by them doing the same thing with like letters. Like they did it way cooler because high budget.
And then tell me about, in chapter 4, we obviously have like the scrolling text um, kind of alluding to Star Wars. Why was it for this one you decided to just do a title card?
I kind of remember between like the short version and then the extended edition. This time around, I wanted it's kind of inspired a little bit by Spider-Man: No Way Home
Mhm.
intro, which I didn't do text, but I want to kind of keep that. But so I kept the text in. I was kind
Mhm.
of like figuring out how do you like jump a year too. So I kind of did like a slow fade in and then a cut to. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously, the short version is like the text faded in and then it went straight to the scene.
Mhm.
I had to cut out a whole chase sequence for the short version,
Oh, really?
which is like one of my favorite parts of this film.
Yeah. Well,
The
there's
opening
still
chase.
plenty of great parts in this film.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about this already, but I would love more in depth. Like, tell me about Sam's character. Like, who was this character? What were they fighting about?
Yeah. So Sam's character was General Tyrus. He was just like the general of the Duke's army.
Okay.
And I mean, at one point, like he's kind of his leading their army to fight an army of elves, which would have been all off screen. Like would have been probably more of Zach's part if I had more of that.
Mhm.
Which reminds me, I was gonna make if I had Paul as my actor, he would have been an elf or like a Link-esque character.
Yeah.
But so yeah, so he was kind of leader of that in the war, and that's why he kind of like runs off at the end of the scene. It's like he's going to lead his army against the elves.
And he, of course, yells the battle cry of the Dark One, makes the podcast great
Podcast
again.
great. Yep.
Well, in that first, well, actually, no, tell me a little bit about the Elves of Amara. How much of a idea did you had with that?
Not much. Like
No.
I don't know. If I could do a big budget film, like sure there'd be a whole sequence with
Mhm.
that. And, but I mean, I think in the extended edition you can hear maybe in that version too. I don't watch the short version in a while.
Mhm.
It's kind of that's not the definitive version for me. But you can hear like there's like a battle going on in the background. I guess it's in the extended edition with Zach's character in the scene.
Within the battle between General Tyrus and Gilbert the Green, we see lightning come out of Matt's hands. That's first of many special effects. You stepped up your game this year.
Yeah, I knew how to go big, go bigger.
So tell me a little bit about the filming timeline, because didn't you say that like you filmed this for last year already? Or tell me
Yeah,
about that a little.
so the very end, which is like when the kids go back home, I
Mhm.
filmed that when I filmed the beginning of episode 5 last year. We filmed that at the same time.
Mhm.
I knew it's like how do you? It's kind of like Chronicles of Narnia. Like at the end of the movie in the books, they like fall back to the wardrobe and they're no longer adults; they're kids again.
Mhm.
That was the inspiration. It's kind of like how do I explain these kids are basically gone for a year. Except that if they're going to age up in a year between filming,
Mhm.
and then they like to just go home and they're a year older. Like that's not great. It would freak out any parent when their child misses who's gone missing
Mhm.
for a year. So I came up with a plan to just film the ending last year.
Okay. So basically just that bedroom scene and then like the
Yeah,
scene of them playing soccer in the background.
yeah. That was all done in 2022. No, three. Sorry. And then so in 2024, I filmed in June. We got together, all the boys and I. We went to my parents' farm and we filmed all our scenes there in one day.
Really?
And I had a full day planned, and I was like telling them for like months on end, like, take this day off. This is the day we're doing it
Mhm.
because I knew just with like my busy summer schedule and their summer schedules. It's like, this is this day. And lo and behold, Trey did not take off work that day. And he had to leave at like 2:00. And I'm like, dude, you're killing me. So we got it done. A couple things that I wish I could have done better, or probably a couple shots I wish I had.
Mm-hmm.
But I got everything I needed by 2:00. After, I think we started at like 10.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much like running gun.
Classic Trey.
Yeah.
Which character? Funny. Sorry, go ahead.
He plays Rodney.
Okay.
I know. I feel like every year I've had to like run up against the clock when filming. Like I think like first one you're running against Sunset. Second one, I think same thing against Sunset. And then this time I'm like, I finally am not running up against Sunset, and I have to run up against Tim going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So filmed all that in June, and then in July, I went down to Kentucky to Sam's, and I filmed with Sam and Matt. And Josiah's supposed to join us, but he got sick, so he filmed his stuff separate.
Mm-hmm.
And Zach filmed his stuff separate too. We just couldn't find a week where he's available with him going to Alaska. Also, probably the first film I've had more than like 2 shoot days. I had 3 shoot days. And also the first time I actually ever filmed with a fellow nerd in person. In the whole.
Oh my gosh, that's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, what do you think? You like it?
It's fun. I mean, I'm probably not going to make too much of an effort to do it next year, just because it's really hard to get together with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But it was fun. I enjoyed.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but Matt Gilbert eating pizza was kind of just like a throwaway joke in chapter 4, right?
Yes, it was.
All right, but somehow all these years later, it has become canon that this provides like life force for Gilbert the Green. Tell me about the evolution of that.
Yeah. So yeah, the first one is just a throwaway joke, and I'm like, the second one is kind of like a running joke, and I'm like, you can't have Gilbert without him eating pizza. So he just, so in the second one he has a small cameo, and he's still eating pizza there. And this one I'm like, okay, I need him to get hurt, and then I need to figure out a way to like make the pizza like at least have some reason to be there. He's fighting. He's not just there talking and eating pizza.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like, I'm gonna write in like he needs his strength. I'm gonna feed him, and it's gonna help him with his powers. I got a funny story. Like I had no intention on choosing Fazoli's originally, because I was just like, we kind of like day shooting. Like I need pizza. Like we're kind of like, can I get a gas station pizza? And Sam was like, oh, there's a Fazoli's in Nicholasville on the way to Wilmore. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Let's just hit that up. And so I got some Fazoli's pizza.
Didn't Gilbert the Green also need a pizza in the M Squad? Now, was that before or after? I'm not presuming to know. I'm not presuming that you know Matt's schedule. Where do you think that timeline lies?
Like in the movies?
Well, not in the movies, but
like in our filming schedules.
In filming schedules, like, do you think you were like, no, this is his life force, and then Matt added that in?
No, I think Matt just did it because it was kind of like, because I'm trying to think, because he told me like, when you come down, I want you to film a cameo for you. And I really don't know when he filmed his film, but basically, so we forgot to do it when I was down there. Like, he always like texted me like, hey, can you do a green screen and just be like a gift from Benson the Blue? And so I just did it, and I had no idea what he was going to do with it. So it was a complete surprise to me when I watched Film Squad. So I think he just kind of took it as, either he did it after because that happened or before because he always had pizza. So
I gotcha. I mean, it definitely is like really interesting to me how it's like, but both of y'all, whether talking about it or not, like they both kind of became like a health potion for Gilbert. Like y'all both took it the same way, and now it is absolutely canon since it's been confirmed by 2 directors.
Yeah.
Would pizza work for Benson the Blue?
I don't know. Part of me say yes, just because I personally love pizza, but I do feel like it's a little out of character for Benson. So,
what is the healing meal for Benson and Rodney? While we're at it,
I'm gonna say mine's gonna be chicken wings.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a reason for that. I'm not gonna get into it right now, but future movie. And then Probably for Rodney, something red. I don't know.
Jello.
Yellow, yeah. Trying to think what Trey likes.
Tell me a little bit about these orbs. Like Gilbert is able to like hand the orb off to Benson. Does Benson now become a cyan wizard because he is green and blue?
No, he's just the orb holds the power. Benson can't use that power,
Mhm.
but he's just holding on to it to give to Easton.
Now,
Yeah.
if Benson were to lose that orb and somebody else find it, would they automatically have the power?
Well, they would have to know the phrase "Creator give me strength"
Mm.
and mean it with intention too. Actually,
So like that, there is like a what's it called, two-factor security.
yeah.
I like that. When I might just be wrong about this, I'm just going to say it confidently and hopefully I'm right. I like that when Weston uses the give me strength line. It's the same guy as Easton,
Yeah,
just also in a wig.
yeah. So I was trying to figure out what to do, and this goes back to even like before making Easton and being Wizard. I've kind of had this plot for this for like 2 years.
Hmm.
So I've had a couple different iterations. My first iteration was like I wanted everyone from Kentucky to come up here, and we film a whole big battle. And then after filming 5, I'm like, this isn't going to be feasible to bring everyone up here. So I was like thinking, like, how do I? Well, one, how do I give Easton more? Because really, he kind of got gypped. Like, if you really think about it, like like he plays this part, and then he becomes an adult, and then he doesn't do anything for like the entire rest of the movie. So like
Okay.
in both and like 2 movies. So like, well, I'm gonna give him something more to do. And since I already kind of made in Weston the anti-Easton, I was like, well, you know what? We'll just turn him good, give that to Hunter, and then Easton can become the Green Wizard since I can't have Matt come up here to help finish the battle.
That's
That's kind of
actually
where, yeah,
that's really clever. Like to work around like scheduling. That's
yeah.
very clever.
And it just helps with Easton's character, like the forgiveness and the turnaround. He gets new powers being becomes a Green Wizard.
You talked a little bit about how you have been like kind of sitting on this script for 2 years now. Tell me about the writing process and how this story has changed from when you originally did chapter 4 to like, whenever you did chapter 4, did you have chapter 6 in mind? And
I'd
if
say
so, how has
no.
it changed?
Yeah, I'd say no. I did not. I think originally after 4, I didn't really have full intention of doing a trilogy. And then
Hmm.
after kind of talking with the guys, like it'd be fun to do it again. And then I kind of planned it. But my first outline, actually, I mean, it's somewhat similar, but somewhat different. Like I definitely knew I was going to Israel, so like for 5, so like Benson was split off. Originally, though, I was going to reveal the main villain at the end of 5, and is actually I was hoping to get like someone else and actually be like the Duchess, like it's a girl, like the Duke's just a pawn. The Duke is
Yeah.
still kind of a pawn,
Hmm.
but I couldn't get any girls to like any friends' wives or that to really be a part of it. So I'm like, oh well, I'll just make Caleb the main villain.
Hmm.
So that came along actually like way after 5, like deciding and then making him a Dark Wizard. Like the Dark Wizard came out. That was not in my original script for 5 and 6, but that came out of just kind of needing one, giving Caleb something to do, and two, just kind of with actors and that having only who I had still. But I think it worked out well.
So tell me about this. Like, all right, so we finally have like this face off with all of the different colors, and we enter this split screen fight montage. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So originally, if you watch the extended edition, there is no split screen montage.
No?
It's all just like no. Watch the extended edition. Like it's all like I had it all worked out to be a big fight, like the cutting of different scenes and that. And then it was just way too long. Like the extended edition is almost like 15 minutes. When I finished the extended edition, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is what I wanted to avoid. I don't want to cut stuff. So I had to cut some stuff last year too. Like I cut out my favorite thing in episode 5, which is like the transport scene. So I
Mhm.
just trying to like I was just trying to work through it. I'm like, what can I do to make the fight make sense, to have everything in the fight, but the shorten the movie. And then I kind of came up with the split screen idea, and like it kind of worked with the beat, like like the one then it goes away, and then like the other one cut in with the beat of the song.
Yeah.
And it kind of that's basically how it came about. It's just like cutting to the beat of the song and trying to shorten the fight.
Yeah. Well, it was a very clever way because it creates such a. I mean, like, it just adds so much more action because your eyes don't know where to look. Like, am I watching Orange, fight? Like your eyes don't know where to look. Tell me about the song choice.
I've had that for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, I think classic, and I did the Shrek 2 version of Hero, actual title song, but it's like the Shrek 2 version is amazing. And like I wanted to use that for so long. Like I've actually like all the music I picked out a long time ago. Like I've just had a Chronicles of Light playlist on my phone, and I would just listen to it throughout the off season just to try to pump myself up. I kind of wrote to some of the music. So
Yeah.
I definitely like spent a lot of the like off season time like planning music for the different parts of the film.
Tell me about coordinating these different fights.
I'm the kind of guy who's like very open to like letting my actors decide how to do it, because I'm not much of. It's hard for me to direct action, especially when you're like acting too. So I kind of just let them kind of pick off and make up what they're going to do for fights, and then I kind of camera block around that. And even with like Matt and Sam, I mean, with the fight for Josiah, I had to like do a little bit of have an idea of what I wanted. I definitely wanted like Gilbert to get choked out because that was part of the script and that. But definitely was like on the fly in the moment, deciding like how Matt and Sam would fight, and like let them kind of decide how to do it.
Yeah. So Benson gets punched in the face. He falls down. We have this nice little camera push. The flashback to chapter 4 was a really nice touch.
I knew I always wanted that. Like, I'm like, I need to have like a reason. I just wanted to bring it full circle, really. Like, I knew I wanted to do White Wizards once I kind of got to this script, and I'm like, okay, well, I think people might forget, like, if they just merge and become White Wizards, it's like people will be like, why did that happen? So I wanted to bring it full circle and bring back that line.
Yep. So we finally see the realization of the RGB lighting. We finally see all of them hit their reach their full potential. Tell me about the robes, the new costumes. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so my friend Cody from high school, he it's kind of my friend group up here. I like a group of friends from youth group that I hang out with up here. And he was talking, and he loves making costumes and stuff. Like he's like into World War II, and like his different like areas of military uniforms that he's made. And for Halloween, I think last year, he made us Jedi costumes.
Okay.
And they were amazing. I get to keep it, but we wore it to actually I think it wasn't for Halloween. It was for a Star Wars Christmas party. So he made us Jedi uniforms, and he had a bunch of extra leftover material, and like the white was like the right color. Like, hey, if you wanna, like, I wasn't like expecting him to do it. He didn't have to, but he took all the leftover material, made the 3 white robes, and then he just got some like mop brooms handles and like painted them white and put each color orb on them. And like he blew me away with it. Like, it's awesome.
I mean, that was another like that had a very big reaction on the night of festival. It's like we finally get to see, the white light.
Yeah.
Tell me about I guess you already told me about the snow globe. That was just kind of you had a pretty good idea about how you were going to use the prop almost immediately, right?
Yeah, as soon as they said snow globe, I'm like, I can use that. Like, that is easy. I was so worried it'd be something worse, like a Nickelback CD.
Well, then we go we leave Amara and we come back to real life, and like you said, you had already previously filmed those scenes, but then we come back into Amara like later, and we see Rodney, Gilbert, and Benson kind of signing off, as it were. Tell me about this handshake between Gilbert and Benson.
Yeah, that was something Matt and I made up on the spot. So like, it'd just be weird just to walk up because kind of the idea was I wanted to show that Gilbert was alive.
Yeah.
It didn't really. It's kind of ambiguous after his scene, and then so I was like, okay, the Wizards are reunited at last, and that. So I know Matt came up with it mostly, but we just kind of did it, practiced a few times, and then shot it.
Nice. All right. Do you have any other like little Easter eggs, any stories from the set, anything you want to add before we move on?
Let me think. I'm sure there's something. I don't know. At some point, I'm going to list a gag reel from all 3 years. We've had a lot of line screw ups.
Mm-hmm.
But
We've gotten extended. Now we need the blooper reel.
yeah.
And now for something completely different.
Mitchell's Hot Takes!
Okay, we have a hot take for you. The Veggie Tales are lame.
Mitchell's Hot Takes!
All right. Well, Tanner, this season on the podcast, as you know, I'm trying to give each of my guests some ownership of their own episode. And everybody has the opportunity to create a presentation of whatever they want as long as it is party room related. So now is the time. What do you got for me today?
Well, today we're going to talk about, we probably won't talk about long because it's not much of a thing, but how does the M Squad fit into the Chronicles of Light timeline? The question that nobody's asking. I'm going to answer it.
Well, yep. Well, yes, Gilbert, Gilbert is making appearances in the M Squad, so we do need to know. When is he leaving Amara to go help out the other Mats?
Yeah, and it works. And it's funny it works, because clearly there's Amara world and Earth world. So it works.
Yeah.
And yeah. But I guess really just to start off with the first point of this is every film that features a Matt Stice variant takes place before the M Squad. That just makes sense.
Yes.
So, yeah. I found this photo on Facebook. I think Paul Goodyear took it, and Matt's up front and there I am in the background to the right.
That is you, yeah.
Yeah.
Look at baby Tanner.
I know, pre-facial hair. But yeah.
Man.
So, all right, without further ado, here we go. It takes place between book 2 and book 3. Yeah.
Sorry, I immediately got distracted by my own name. Sorry.
About that in a second.
Wait,
There may be some announcement. There may be some announcements here.
You're about to announce the entire cinematic universe.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. So basically, M Squad takes place between book 2 and book 3.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the beginning of book 4, Gilbert and Benson are stationed on Earth, while Rodney is still in Amara. So obviously, I don't really have a full story for book 1, 2, and 3, but essentially,
Yes, you do. I don't admit to that. You have it.
I have it. Kind of have it. It's not fleshed out completely. We'll say that. I have a general outline for books 1, 2, and 3. But book 3 ends with. Remember at the beginning of book 4, the red sun rises. Blood has been spilt this night. That's the very first line. And the reason is because Rodney murdered somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know who yet. Probably just a nobody. But so that means there's kind of like that turn. But we were stationed off Amara before that. So basically, between book 2 and 3 is when the M Squad takes place on the Chronicles of Light timeline.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. Just kind of. To me, it makes sense because it's obviously before we're White Wizards. And there's only a year between 5 and 6, so yeah.
No, it does make sense to me.
Yeah,
and like you said, it does kind of because time plays differently between the Amara world and the real world, like you can kind of just say like, well, it's here or here. Like you can just choose. Now I am noticing on this graphic you have here, have you retroactively retitled chapter 4?
I did. I kind of did that right before I released my poster for episode 6. It's kind of just to be funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Star Wars, A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. So I'm like, I was sitting there like just kind of thinking, I think Sam and I came up with this when I was down there filming. He's like, you should retitle. I'm like, yeah, you're right, I should. So 4 is now A New Light. 5 is The Duke Strikes Back. And then 6 is Return of the Wizards. It's already kind of like playing off Star Wars being 4, 5, and 6. So I'm like, why not just go all the way and just basically name them the Star Wars names?
I have to ask. Spinoff starring Jacob McGlone and Benson the Blue.
Yeah.
What's happening there? Is Benson and Jacob moving in together?
No, I'm trying. I don't know. I don't want to spoil too much because I don't want it's gonna be a future film. It probably won't happen this year, but Cody, Sam, and Josiah all know about it. I've all told them about it.
Okay.
But all I'm gonna say is it's a parody of It's a Wonderful Life.
Amazing.
All I'm gonna say.
Well, like the other thing that I love is that it's not, it's a spinoff starring Jacob and Benson, not Jacob and Tanner, meaning that within this universe, I am also just Jacob. Like I don't get a magical Amara name. I'm Jacob.
I'll tell you more off the record.
Okay.
I don't want to spoil like the whole film before I even do it,
No, you're good.
But I'll tell you about it.
But
I'll tell you about it since you're starring in it. But once I tell you why, you will understand why, and it's gonna be great. Like it's an idea I've been sitting on for a couple of years, and it just kind of works out. Like even I think the original idea wasn't even tied to Chronicles of Light, but since but you can figure like Benson the Blue is basically like Clarence the Angel. I'm like, well, I can just make that Benson the Blue and just tie it in. So
yeah. All right. Well, whenever I'm your assigned actor, I suppose.
You might not have to be my assigned actor. We'll make it out sometime, but
that's true.
Not this year. I'm not ready to do it yet this year. Because basically, I had to tell all the guys up here, like, yeah, I'm not using you this year. It's definitely hard to. And like, we were literally just talking this morning about ideas for this year, and I got something for this year. It'll be good, I think.
Well, now we know that these universes are absolutely connected, and we have a timeline for them. So, thank you so much, Tanner.
Yeah.
Hey there, Ferguson the Puppet here. This podcast episode is brought to you by the letter T and Taco Bell, the sponsor of the episode. At all participating Taco Bell establishments, listeners will receive 1 free taco. Just tell them Ferguson sent you. And now enjoy the rest of the episode.
I have just a few more questions, if that's all right.
Yeah.
All right. How much do you think the lineup and the order of the films affects voting? Is there a certain spot in the lineup that you would rather be to help you win the Golden Dewey?
That's an interesting question. I feel like it does impact it. And obviously your matchups matter too. Like, I still feel it's kind of funny. Last year, like, it was me, Trevor, and Aaron in the 3 group. The Landers didn't submit a film, and I felt very gypped, to be honest. Because I was going up against Trevor. And then I'm going up against Aaron, who's also making a sequel to a Dewey winner. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm not winning. And so I feel like there's some weight to it. I know it's hard. This year, I was very surprised to be going near the end. And so it's kind of like I went after most of the films, and then I went right before Levi. And I still lost, and I lost to Levi. So, and I don't know if that was necessarily like order. Like, I don't know if I would have went after his, if that would have changed anything or not. I would say it might have to do some with the individual matchups and maybe not so much the Golden Dewey.
I mean, I would say, I can guarantee you I voted for you over Levi. I was blown away by chapter 6. was very happy. You should have won. I am calling that bull crap, and I would like a recount, but I'm not actually going to do that. So
It's okay.
with the success of the merch at Party Room 5, what other merch items would you like to see in the future?
Maybe a quarter zip. Like a nerd quarter zip. I don't know.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Well, I'm not like a big quarter zip guy, but
Is there like a Lego set you would like to see?
ooh. I mean, if we're doing a Lego set,
Mhm.
I would like to see, right, I like a Chronicles of Light Lego set, for one. That is
Okay.
awesome. Two, I would like a Lego set of us all watching the films. Like this, like the couches and chairs.
Oh,
I think that'd be
that's
cool.
really
Like a
cool.
projection screen up front. That'd be kind of cool.
That's really creative.
You know, like they kind of like has dioramas now with like scenes from movies, or
Yeah,
I think that'd be kind of cool. Like a Lego set of us watching the films.
that's really creative. That's amazing. What would you said Chronicles of Light first. What would that set look like in your head?
Probably like the final battle. Did have
Mhm.
like the three wizards and Caleb, and then Weston,
Mhm.
and I think it'd be something along that. You know, hit the minifigures and probably some like grass and trees and that.
Tanner, happy 5 years. Rate yourself over the 5 years. So, what was your best film and what was your worst film?
That's so tough with having three of my films being together. So probably my top I'm gonna go with would be book 6. And then 2, I'm gonna go with book 4. Oh, it's so tough. Kind of like book 4 to some extent is like kind of like nostalgic in a way. Because like
Mhm.
Easton was so young and it was the first one. And then I'd say book 5 would probably be my 3.
Okay.
Just because I do think some part of the story is a little weak, but it's also really cool to have like it also has like the best shots with all the stuff filmed in Israel. So
Yeah.
like visually it is kind of the best. But I think story wise is probably the weakest. But I think part of it was because I did split the story into 2 films.
Which we could talk about this now, like since I'm only interviewing you on 6 because that's
Yeah.
this year's, but like book 5 was incredible, and like obviously like those shots were beautiful, like of
Yeah.
Israel, and goodness, man, that was incredible.
I know it's so weird. It's like I use the same phone in Israel and at home. And it
Mhm.
just I don't know, just something about Israel. It just looks I mean I did do Golden Hour in Israel, so that
Yeah.
helped a lot. Maybe that's like the film.
So currently, in first place we have 6, in second
6.
place we have 4,
Or
in third place we have chapter 5. That leaves us with fourth and fifth place for Wet Bandits pitch meeting or Life.
yeah, so Wet Bandits would be 4.
Mhm.
And then Life would be 5.
Why are you putting Life at fifth?
Because that movie was just me doing a bunch of random stuff and putting it together. It's like to an extent, that film, I just feel like I got art as my genre,
Mhm.
and I was just like, I have no idea. The only kind of artsy film I could think of is The Tree of Life, which I personally is probably the worst movie I ever saw. I watched it twice in college
Mhm.
but I watched it with the other guys when they had Faith Meeting Calling, and I watched it in Faith Meeting Calling, and I sit and watch that movie, and I just feel my brain dying. I hate it so much. But I also channeled it because that's the only artsy movie I could think of. Is I kind of channeled it for Life. And like literally, I just went around. Like I was at camp, I just filmed a bunch of random stuff, and I was at home, I filmed stuff, and then I kind of wrote a script that kind of matched and had the line in it.
Mhm. Well, other than like switching chapters 4 and 5, that's still an upward trajectory. Like, your most recent film is your best film, self-proclaimedly, so that's a good trajectory to be on. Obviously, it sounds like we're not fully saying goodbye to the Chronicles of Light. Are we taking a break from it this year, or
Yeah,
what plans do we have?
We're gonna take a break from it this year, for sure. I'm gonna do something different. I don't want to come back to it. Like I said, the film between us will at least involve Benson and be kind of within that universe. I would like to do book 7, but it would be one of those like I want to do it when we're like all a bit decently older, just to kind of like episode 7 in Star Wars. It's kind of like 30 years. I probably won't wait 30 years, but
Yeah.
I want us to be in a different. I want to be in a different phase of life. Like we want us to look really older and maybe have kids and have the kids in it.
I was about to say, Tanner, I'm not going to be here in 30 years, so don't wait
wait.
that long.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever do 1, 2, and 3.
Mhm.
I'm thinking about it. I don't know. If I do, I'd probably do it after 7, and just kind of figure out how to do it with different actors and everything.
It's not goodbye to the Chronicles of Light, but it is goodbye to this chapter, and we'll see it again someday.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Tanner, that's all the questions I have for you. Thank you for your time this evening.
Yeah.
This has been the PRFFP, and I'm just hanging out.
Hanging out with my family.